What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blitz Fantasy Football. My name is Ryan Linklater here. I'm with Danny and Danny's debut on Blitz Fantasy Football today. Danny, how we doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Ready for
Awesome,
the
dude.
season to start.
We got a lot of breakouts that we got to talk about. We got rookie drafts for dynasty leagues coming up. We got dynasty startup leagues coming up. So we need to make sure you guys are prepared for all these breakout players that are going to be happening here in the 2025 NFL season. I want to start in Chicago. I want to start with DJ Moore. DJ Moore, honestly, one of the more disappointing players last season in fantasy football. We thought, man, they got Caleb Williams. The quarterback situation in terms of the passing game probably improved in Chicago is what we thought. Ultimately, Moore was incredibly inconsistent last year. Was not ideal for him. Ben Johnson, this guy loves to get fantasy points to his players. I mean, I've never seen a guy that can fit in 6 weapons in an offense and them all be fantasy relevant. But that's what Ben Johnson does. If DJ Moore is the primary slot receiver for this Bears team, it could mean the great things for DJ Moore. We saw the target share that Amon-Ra St. Brown had for the Lions. If DJ Moore can, have something similar to that, across the middle of the field, more down the field routes. And Moore's route tree last year is one of the biggest reasons why he struggled in fantasy football. If he ups his points per game from 13 to 17, 18, just from an increased volume, better targets, more touchdowns probably with an improved offensive line, he's going to be a wide receiver 1 this year. And he's going around round 4 right now. Danny, that's an absolute steal. Why is Moore so good right now where he's getting drafted?
Well, I think it's just the idea that he came off a year where he had a career high in receptions. But the thing is, though, you're adding Ben Johnson. Amon-Ra has been able to get 150 targets the last 3 years in that offense. So it should be just as good for him. And plus, bringing in the rookie tight end, you got double tight end now possibly, which maybe you'll open up a little bit more for him on the outside, on little outside routes or in and out routes or even up at the middle with splitting the tight ends out as big as they are for them.
100%. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your guy here, Javonte Williams? Who knows what the Dallas Cowboys want to do at running back, but why could it be Javonte?
Well, Javonte, he came into the league with a lot of hype and stuff. Then he hurt his knee his second season. But the thing is, though, with the Cowboys, they always produce 1,000-yard rushers. The last season, they had Rico Dowdle, 1,000-yard rusher. Tony Pollard, the last 2 seasons before Dowdle took over, 1,000-yard rushers. There's going to be opportunities in that offense to score some short yardage touchdowns, and they don't use a tush push, so they need a running back to score a touchdown. So Javonte's going to be the guy, and he's chances 10, 15 touchdowns possibly.
Yeah, Javonte as a rookie was one of the more exciting players we saw for the Broncos. I'm like, man, I watched this guy in person. Unbelievable talent in the backfield, was just plowing guys over. Unfortunately, injuries and just not as good of a Denver offensive line and him struggling in general. Just not the same player. But in Dallas, it's a new scene. And I think the, Schottenheimer scheme of more of a man running scheme and a more, up the middle type scheme benefits him a lot more than what he did with Sean Payton in the prior regimes in Denver. So that part is very nice. And I love the fact that he could easily step in and have a massive role within this offense, even though he struggled. I mean, I'm looking at his stats right now. His numbers have actually gone down every year. Yeah. He only had 139 touches. If he somehow, I don't know if I'm going to say this, but somehow improves and just looks healthier this season, maybe he's a little bit more fresh. Yeah, I think he's in for a great year. One of the running backs for the Cowboys is going to step up. Why can't it be Javonte Williams?
Exactly.
Let's head into our next guy here, Xavier Worthy for the Kansas City Chiefs. Worthy was a monster towards the end of the season. Why is Xavier Worthy a breakout star, Danny?
I think Xavier, just because of the fact they start implementing more in the offense later in the season, it seemed like they kind of went away from Kelsey being the main guy where they were setting up plays out of the backfield. Even on Christmas Day, they did one play out of the backfield, a quick out pass to him, and he took it to the end zone against the Steelers. Just they're creating ways of getting the ball to him, and even in the playoffs, they give him as many opportunities as they can to get him the ball because he's explosive. And he needs something in that offense because I think teams have figured out that Patrick will dink and dunk you now, and I think it's what the Eagles did to them in the Super Bowl. They kind of shut the dink and dunk down. They need somebody to be able to stretch the field some, and Xavier Worthy is the guy.
Yeah, and I mean, Xavier Worthy was a player that I saw develop all of last season. He started the year, wasn't a great route runner, had a hard time finding separation consistently. He had to have manufactured touches. Towards the end of the year, I'm looking at it right now, 19.6 points, 20.5 points, 22.9 points. That was in the last 3 weeks of the Chiefs regular season that he played. And then in the playoffs, we all know he was an absolute monster every single week. Xavier Worthy found his place in this Chiefs offense. as a, guy that they moved around in motion a lot. They moved around in the slot a lot. He didn't even have those big plays that we saw in the Super Bowl at all in the season. It wasn't there. And I think that's what the Chiefs are going to try to get back to. They improved their tackle situation to try to get the down the field passing attack. If Rashee Rice, if he doesn't get suspended, we all know that he's probably getting suspended.
Yeah, hopefully it's not. I hope it's the 4-game variety or even less than that. It just really depends on what the league wants to do on that situation. So, and plus it's getting ready to come up now. Him coming back from the knee injury, I mean, that's going to be the thing that helps him possibly with the suspension, where Rice is not going to be there, may not be there because of injury. So somebody's got to step up, and Worthy's probably the guy.
Yeah, and even look, if Rice is not there, he's a wide receiver 1 in my eyes. But if Rice is there, I'm not downgrading him a lot. I think he has ability to work over the top, and he plays very well off of Rashee Rice. They're different types of receivers, and in the most, passing volume offense in the NFL, he can be a really good player, and the Chiefs are going to find a way to get him touchdowns. He's a middle to high-end wide receiver 2 at a minimum with Rashee Rice on the field, and he's truly the target, or should I say 1A, 1B with him and Rice?
Exactly.
Who knows? Kelsey is not in the 1 conversation.
No.
Not anymore, but I am all over Xavier Worthy at his current ADP right now. Buy as much as you can. Let's talk about your next guy here, Michael Penix Jr. entering his first year as a starter. What do you like about him and his outlook in 2025?
I like it's what he did in college. He was able to do. I mean, he was able to produce big numbers. He could completion percentage was pretty high in college and stuff like that. I know he struggled the first couple games coming out last year when he started. I know one game Bijan had like 12 targets and only caught 3 balls. That's going to change. There's no way he's not going to be able to get Bijan the ball. Not going to be able to get London the ball, get Pitts the ball, and Mahoney, Darnell Mooney the ball as well too. I mean, they didn't have him the last few games of the season too, so he's got plenty of weapons to get the ball to.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one of the more interesting parts about Penix Jr. is he's going to be comfortable. He has a full offseason where he's the guy. He's taking reps with the ones consistently. It's his second year in the NFL. I truly think that he's going to be more comfortable heading into the season versus being thrusted into a starting role where the team's still fighting for a playoff spot. Exactly. And it was just because Kirk Cousins was so bad last season. So he was not good.
Yeah, and Kurt actually played well into that stretch where he had the 1 touchdown from 9 interceptions like through 4 or 5 games. He played well before then. So there's opportunities for him to excel in this offense because of the talent that surrounds him.
The talent is unbelievable. I mean, Drake London, you got Bijan Robinson, the 2 superstars there. The offensive line's improved as well. Yes. I think what's going to help them this year is their defense will likely be able to get off the field more. They had 0 pass rush last season.
Exactly.
It made it hard. It made it hard for the Falcons to stay on the field. So I like Penix Jr. in terms of a volume standpoint for the Falcons. He has the talent around him. I think Zach Robinson, being from that Sean McVay tree, is going to scheme him up a lot of good throws in that intermediate range to where they're free points for us in fantasy football.
Exactly.
Let's get into my last guy here on this list, Jakobi Myers. Danny, what are your thoughts on Jacoby Myers heading into 2025?
He has a quarterback this year. That's the big thing. I mean, you went through AOC and who else did they have there with them last year?
Gardner Minshew last year.
Yeah, Gardner, poor old Gardner. But now you actually have somebody that's actually proven he can throw for 4,000 yards in the season and will target his number 1 guys. I mean, whoever was on the field last year for the Seattle, he targeted. If DK was healthy, he was the guy. Lockett's always been a guy like that. So he's going to be able to find guys open in JSN. I mean, when those guys were hurt, JSN was a guy. So he's going to target his main guy, and Jakobi is the main guy there. Bowers is going to take some stuff away because he can go over the middle and stuff and take care of that. But Myers is still the number 1 receiver in that offense.
Yeah, I mean, Jacoby Myers has only gotten better in his career. I'm looking at his 6-year NFL career, 4.1 points, 10.2, 11 points, 12.9, 13.7, and then last year, 14.5 points per game, posting his first career 1,000-yard receiving year with his worst quarterback situation. I mean,
exactly, and he's finally getting in the end zone too. That's one thing. That was his bugaboo.
Yeah, he only had 4 touchdowns last year too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's huge for him.
Yeah, and he's going to have a situation around him where he has a running back this year in Ashton Jeanty. Exactly. He has Brock Bowers as well. I really like Jack Beck as well, the guy they drafted from TCU. Can open things up for Myers as well. But Myers is the primary target guy in this offense. And what we've seen a lot from Pete Carroll teams is that they don't target the tight end like Brock Bowers was targeted last season. Bowers is going to have a great year, and he's a great football player. But the targets are going to go to the wide receivers, and Geno Smith has never targeted tight ends in his career. Jacoby Myers is going to be the biggest beneficiary. I truly see 125 targets if he sees healthy. I mean, he's a round 7, round 8 guy right now, Danny. I would love to have that guy, as my wide receiver 2 flex heading into the season.
Oh, exactly. He may even drop further than that as the season goes on because people are still looking at Byers as being the guy. So
yeah, and they're going to see Genty too, and they're going to be like, yeah, they're going to run the ball too much. Yeah, I think they're all values for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think Genty opens up the offense. You've got he's the number 1 guy after his first season in the NFL with Bowers. And then you bring in a guy like Genty who could be on the level as Saquon his first season and stuff. You're just going to give yourself opportunities, not only in teams got to figure out who to cover and guard and stuff like that, but you're also going to get the opportunities of more touchdowns because those guys are such elite talent.
100%. Well, guys, those are our 5 breakouts that you need to know heading into your drafts. Make sure you guys drop a comment who you think the biggest breakout is heading into the 2025 season. Me and Danny will catch you guys next time on Blitz Fantasy Football, and make sure you hit that subscribe button.